To you, wherever you are, thank you very much for making time for us. This is Channel 1 Lunchtime News. My name is Edward Kabasa. Our sign language interpreter is Lensa Odingo. The number of confirmed coronavirus cases, all right, that story will be coming to you, but let's begin with the news of the total cases confirmed now. 12 people tested positive for the novel coronavirus, raising the total number of COVID-19 cases in the country to 246. Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe says the cases are from 450 samples that had been tested by Friday morning. According to Kagwe, the latest patients include hotel workers and contacts. Purity Musel with that report.
In less than 24 hours, the country has reported 12 more positive cases of COVID-19 from 450 samples tested, bringing the total number of infections in the country to 246.
We have already tested about 450 samples. Out of these 450 samples, we have already got 12 positive cases, and we have not finished the day.
Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe said the new cases include 5 hotel workers and 4 who came into contact with infected persons. Kagwe emphasizing on the importance of mass testing, saying it could make a difference on the total number of infections.
We need to really start the testing capacity so that the contacts of those people who are positive can also be tested, and therefore we can be able to maintain and contain the pandemic.
Kagwe was speaking at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport together with his interior counterpart Dr. Fred Matiang'i and Transport Cabinet Secretary James Macharia, receiving a consignment of medical supplies from China.
On this flight, we have been informed that we have got 500,000 3-ply masks. We have got 200,000 testing and sampling tubes, and this is a very important thing. These 200,000 sampling tubes are key to our ability to mass test Kenyans. Without these sampling tubes, we would not be able, and we were not going to be able to start our mass testing.
Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i, on his part, pledged his support to enforce the measures taken by the government to contain the spread of the novel coronavirus.
I want to confirm that we are doing everything we can to enforce the curfew, to enforce the guidelines that we have been given by the Ministry of Health, and we will step up what we need to do to ensure that we keep our people safe.
On Wednesday, the Ministry of Health received another consignment of surgical masks, gloves, face shields, gowns donated by China, Germany and France through the World Health Organization. The ministry also received a second batch of donations from the Jack Ma Foundation, which included swabs, ventilation machines, thermometer guns and medical gloves. Kenya has recorded 53 recoveries and 11 deaths as a result of the COVID-19 disease. Purity Museo, Channel 1 News.
Laikipia County Governor Nderitu Mureri is appealing for more humanitarian assistance for thousands of families affected by the coronavirus pandemic. The governor says about 40,000 households in Laikipia are in dire need of food and other basic items as fears over the spread of COVID-19 continue to impact negatively on livelihoods. The appeal coming even as statistics indicate that the virus is making inroads into the counties. Close to 40,000 families in Laikipia County are in need of humanitarian support as the effects of COVID-19 continue to be felt in the county.
Leo hii tumeanza matangazo maalum ya juhudi hizo vile tutaweza kusaidia wale ambao wako hali yao iko chini, takriban miji 40,000 households, na hiyo itaendelea.
The governor making a passionate appeal to corporate organizations and people of goodwill to donate food and other items to needy populations in the county.
Tumetangaza mahala unaweza leta mchango yako in cash or kind. Ukienda kwa mfano pale kwa kanisa la PCA, ukienda kwa kanisa la Katoliki, ukienda kwa ofisi zetu, drop off points ambazo ukiwa unataka kuchangia in kind waweza ukafanya hivyo.
This even as Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi called on area residents to observe the directives issued by the national government against the spread of COVID-19.
Hatuwezi kulegeza kama. Ikiwa kaunti zingine ambazo hazina kisa hata kimoja wamekaza kama, kwa nini Kilifi tuna visa 10 tulegeze kama?
Kingi said it was unfortunate that people want to be pushed to observe laid-down rules, oblivious of the fact that the pandemic is killing thousands of people worldwide. Kingi's sentiments were echoed in Embu County, where some residents were found to be violating the rule on social distancing and maintenance of personal hygiene.
We have a few cases of non-compliance, and what we have done is that if it is the markets, we have said markets will be done on daily basis, so that we don't have designated market days where many people converge in large groups.
The Embu County government has in the meantime said it is prepared to combat the spread of the coronavirus. Let's now take a look at the global outlook of this virus. The number of confirmed coronavirus cases around the world continue to increase and now stands at 2.1 million, with more than 145,000 succumbing to the COVID-19 disease. At the same time, the number of fatalities in the Chinese city of Wuhan has risen by 1,290 to 3,869. That brings the total number of deaths in the country to at least 4,642.
The number of coronavirus infections worldwide has now reached 2,152,000, with nearly 145,000 deaths, according to the Johns Hopkins University tally, prompting some governments, including that of the United Kingdom and Canada, to extend the lockdown. The UK will continue its lockdown restrictions for at least another 3 weeks as it tackles the coronavirus outbreak. The Chinese city of Wuhan has recorded an increase in the number of COVID-19 fatalities from 1,290 to 3,869. Wuhan also saw the number of confirmed cases rising from 325 to 50,333, accounting to about 2/3 of China's total 82,367 cases. Almost 78,000 of the patients have already recovered. South Korea has reported 22 new cases of the coronavirus, and for the 5th day in a row, its daily tally was in the 20s. Meanwhile, the International Monetary Fund has given Pakistan $1.5 billion in emergency financing to help absorb some of the devastating economic impact of the coronavirus pandemic. The government has been handing out roughly $70 to more than 10 million families most affected by the lockdown. Pakistan has 7,025 confirmed coronavirus cases, including 135 deaths, an increase of 11 in the last 24 hours. In the United States, President Donald Trump unveiled a 3-phased plan for reopening the U.S. that puts the onus on state governors to implement the guidelines, despite earlier assertions that he had total authority to direct governors how and when to reopen. The U.S. government reported 5.2 million more Americans applied for unemployment benefits last week, bringing the 4-week total to 22 million, the worst stretch of U.S. job losses on record. The losses translate to about 1 in 7 American workers. Meanwhile, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres is warning that the coronavirus pandemic is putting more of the world's children in jeopardy and is urging families everywhere and leaders at all levels to protect children. Regionally, Sudanese Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok has sacked the governor of the capital, Khartoum, after he opposed a ban on religious gatherings imposed to try to curb the spread of COVID-19. General Ahmed Abdul Hamad Mohammed refused to implement a decision to ban prayers in mosques and churches that takes effect on Saturday. Purity Museo, Channel 1 News.
And back home, screening at the Tana Bridge in Garissa County will be moved to a spacious place to help ease traffic flow. Northeastern Regional Commissioner Nicodemus Ndalana says screening at the bridge has created traffic jams as it is manned by only one health official.
Speaking after touring the bridge and the isolation center at the Garissa Level 5 Hospital, Regional Commissioner Nicodemus Ndalana said that the Tana Bridge is the main entrance to Northeastern Region and cannot be manned by one health official.
tulienda tukakuta cha ajabu, ofisa wa afya ambaye tuko na yeye hapo ni mmoja na thermogani moja, ambayo tukiangalia magari ambayo yanapitia hapo kuingia na kutoka mkoa huu ni mengi, mtu mmoja atoshi.
Ndalana said more security officers have been deployed to all major urban areas to ensure that Al-Shabaab do not take advantage of the dawn to dusk curfew to carry out attacks.
Wakati wa curfew tumekubaliana tuwe na maofisa wa kutosha town zote kubwa za mkoa na hasa Garissa, tuhakikishe ya kwamba Al-Shabaab hawatapata nafasi ya kuingia ndani ya hii town ama down zingine wakitake advantage of the curfew.
Ndalana also called on police officers manning the barrier to prioritize their own safety.
Na niko na uhakika tukifuatilia maagizo ambayo tumepewa na serikali yetu kuu, hii ugonjwa tutaumanage na utaisha.
Elsewhere, the Kenya Clinical Officers Association has organized a training clinic for all health workers in Turkana. Speaking to press at the Lodwar Referral Hospital, the union's Secretary General Joseph Chebi said that the one-day training was aimed at arming the caregivers in Turkana County with adequate skills to prevent infecting themselves and the families.
Kenya clinical officers are among the front-line healthcare workers. We decided that we also give part of what they have always been participating in their contribution to train these frontline healthcare workers so that they can be protected with this disease.
We have also done a simulation and a demonstration on how to put on these PPEs. Knowledge is power. And also, once we protect them, also we can protect the public.
For Channel 1 News, I'm Ben Troy Njue.
2 Kenyan nationals have been quarantined at the Alupe Sub-County Hospital in Busia following their arrival from Uganda. Busia Deputy Governor Moses Mulomi says the 2 will remain in isolation until results on their COVID-19 status are out.
The 2 who had a stay in Uganda before coming back home were placed in mandatory quarantine in Busia County.
Walikuwa na temperatures ambazo zilikuwa juu kidogo.
Busia Deputy Governor Moses Mulomi says no suspected case will be handled lightly. He said the 2 will remain in quarantine until the results on coronavirus tests conducted on them are out. According to Mulomi, other 84 closely monitored persons with coronavirus suspected cases are in isolation. Another 30 were, however, released after testing negative from mandatory quarantine facilities in the region. Mulomi disclosed that his team is not relenting in monitoring movements along the Kenya-Uganda border in combating the spread of the contagious virus.
Tumeweka kamati ambayo itafanya kazi pamoja na serikali kuu, tuone ni njia gani tunaweza kuhakikisha kwamba biashara ya goods ambazo zinatoka na kuenda nje zinakuwa facilitated vilivyo bila kutuletea risk ya magonjwa.
The Deputy Governor now wants Kenyans to follow the Ministry of Health's directive on the fight against COVID-19 to the latter.
Kila mmoja wetu akiwa ako nje lazima awe anatumia mask. Kwa hivyo tunauliza wananchi wa Busia wote waweze kuzingatia hiyo sheria. Ya pili, tuendelee kusafisha mikono vilivyo na pia kuweka distance kati yetu.
Irene Uchuma, Udim, Channel 1.
As countries continue implementing stronger measures to contain the spread of the novel coronavirus, self-quarantine and temporary closure of businesses has adversely affected the food service industry and directly impacted the nutrition of populations. Let's take a look at the connection between undernutrition and COVID-19.
Now, coming to nutrition, the first thing we need to ensure is that even when there is no food, children are protected. because if children do not have food for 1 or 2 days, they are likely to go down very fast and even die. The other group that we need to look at are also the aged. As we say, the aged are more vulnerable. They need to feed well. All of us need to feed well, as we always say. That means we need to have a variety of foods, the vegetables, the fruits, the starchy foods, the animal protein, and even plant protein, so that our bodies are able to resist any disease.
You are watching Channel 1 Lunchtime News. Let us now take a very short break, but we'll be back with more.
What has been your greatest challenge as a parent during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic situation? As we wait for the pandemic to be over at home, COVID-19 has given us an opportunity to reconnect with our children. Join Nakada during Good Morning Kenya Breakfast Show as we discuss positive parenting. Remember, parenting is all about you. Nakada, for a nation free from alcohol and drug abuse.
On Channel 1.
Yo, muliitisha mtu wangu na tukawapatia.
Mwenzako I feel so good, pindi nikikuona. Kanyaga.
Top Mashariki, mpango mzima, kipindi ambacho kinakupatia burudani katika kanda Afrika Mashariki.
Next on.
Kama nataka kupeleka mtoto, unafikiria mtoto safi, unapeleka mkono hivi. Sasa ndani mtu kama huyo, tanipaka hiyo rangi.
Napata mtoto wako hali mbaya, nikachukua mtoto nikapeleka hospitali. Kenyatta aliishi almost 1 year.
It all started with a mild headache. I took some paracetamols. The next day it became severe. I took all the paracetamols you can think of.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Na kutafuta nini? Mimi nitaka kujua haki yangu nitaipata vipi?
Sasa wewe ungemuuliza mumeo marehemu. Mimi yanihusu nini sasa?
Shamuuliza.
Nawaambia hilo mwende mbio. Ile mjue ni haki yenu.
Mama. Hapa lazima kieleweke. Lazima wajue marage ni mboga. Kabisa.
I have an important call I want to make, please.
Daddy, before you make that call, please, can you listen to me?
Daktari, nisaidie mtoto wangu asife. Mtoto wangu asife, daktari.
Hospitali tutafanya vile tunaweza, sisi madaktari tuweze kumsaidia.
Thank you very much for keeping us company. You are watching Channel 1 Lunchtime News. Just a quick response here. This is from Twitter at MLesterH. You're saying testing is the only way of detecting COVID-19. Temperature check is not a valid way of determining who has COVID-19 or not. Asymptomatic persons will go through and continue infecting others. Face mask, hand washing, and gender hygiene is the only way to beat this bio weapon. Okay, he calls it a weapon, but we do thank you very much for your feedback. Muslim leaders in Mombasa are calling on the government to lift the ban on closure of mosques during the holy month of Ramadan, which will kick off on Friday next week. The leaders are also appealing for a shortening of the dusk to dawn curfew hours from 7 p.m. to at least 10 p.m. to enable them to conduct prayers at mosques as they observe the social distancing precautions as prescribed by the government.
Allahu Akbar.
Led by the Council of Imams and Preachers of Kenya, top brass, the leaders want the government to open the mosque for hours to allow them connect with God and pray for the coronavirus disease. CIPK Secretary General Sheikh Mohammed Khalifa says the 14 cases of closure of mosque had expired. Therefore, the government should allow areas of worship to be opened.
Kufuturu huwezi kufuturu kwa nusu saa. Watu hawa walikuwa wanakula misikitini na katika kupitia kwa ndugu zao. Tungeomba idara ya usalama na idara ya afya waweze kupunguza wakati wa kafyu, waweze kuweka saa 3 au saa 4 ikiwezekana, ili wale ambao kwamba maskini au mafukara waliokuwa wakipata ufadhili kutoka kwa ndugu zao wa kupikiwa chakula waweze kuipata nafasi hiyo.
Sentiments that were echoed by Mombasa Senator Mohammed Faki, who said the curfew hours is affecting prayers time for Muslims.
Aruhusu curfew katika kaunti yetu Mombasa na miji kaunti nyingine zote ambazo zina wingi wa Waislamu iweze kuanza aidha saa 3 usiku mpaka saa 11 alfajiri, ili wale ambao watakuwa wameenda katika majumba kufuturu waweze kupata nafasi ya kuweza kurudi makwao kabla ya muda wa curfew kuanza.
The leaders also appeal to the government to initiate a relief food program to fasting Muslims to cushion them from hunger.
Na serikali imeweza kupata ufadhili. Tungeomba kama vile walivyofikiriwa wasanii na wafanye biashara, maimamu na mashehe ambao kwamba walikuwa wanasomesha na kusalisha, pamoja na wananchi waislamu wengine kwa ujumla waliokuwa maskini sasa wamekuwa fukara, ule usaidizi wa chakula uliokuwa ukitolewa kila mwaka na serikali uongezwe maradufu.
Meanwhile, the leaders are calling on the government to waive taxes that are imposed and further called on Kenya Power and Lighting Company to reduce electricity tariff so as to cushion Kenyans from the deteriorating economic status.
Tumeona kwamba serikali iliweza kuondoa ushuru kwa tende kwa muda wa mapema sana, lakini hiyo haitoshi kabisa, kwa sababu utaona tende ni chakula kimoja peke yake ambacho Waislamu wanatumia katika mwezi wa Ramadhani.
Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Timothy Kipnosu.
A section of women and youth in Githunguri constituency are set to benefit from job opportunities on face mask production during this coronavirus pandemic period. Area Member of Parliament Gabriel Kago says over 50 women and youth will be contracted to produce 70,000 masks for use by traders and border operators from his constituency. Kago said the idea of coming up with such initiative was through a group of professionals in the area and urged for social donations to needy families. He urged his parliamentary counterparts to desist from politics and focus on how to reduce the number of coronavirus cases.
Serikali imesema tunafaa kuwa na mask, tunafaa kufanya hii na hii na hii. Kwa hivyo tunaelimisha hawa watu wetu kufanya vile serikali inataka. Sasa siku moja viasi 100 anakibria mask. Juu aweze kaingia kwa soko bila mask.
Hawa mama unaona wakishona, kila mtu amekuja na mashini yake. Ile kitu tunafanya ni kuleta foodi, ikileta shida inaweza kutengenezwa ili kazi iendelee.
Tumeungana wana Githunguri sisi wote professionals, wale ambao ni medical professionals, wana biashara, tumeungana, wametoa pesa zao za kutengenezea kila mmoja wetu. Eneo la Githunguri tuko na population ya 165,000, lakini target yetu ilikuwa 70,000.
Police in Malindi town have arrested 8 people in connection to an incident where a traffic police officer was attacked and injured at BP area earlier this week. Malindi Sub-County Police Commander Vitalis Otieno said the suspects will be arraigned in court to face charges including assaulting police and resisting arrest.
A contingent of police officers led by Malindi Sub-County Police Commander Vitalis Otieno stormed several estates within Malindi town in a crackdown that led to the arrest of suspects involved in the attack of Malindi Base Commander George Naibei.
I want others who maintain yet violence that a strict action will be taken against them, and we shall take them to court. We shall not condone breaking of the law.
In a video that went viral, the suspects were captured attacking a police officer after resisting arrest for violating the measures put in place by the Ministry of Health to curb the spread of coronavirus. Malindi Sub-County Police Commander Vitalis Otieno said security agencies in the county are on alert to ensure border operators comply with the government guidelines.
Several officers from various departments to try and contain the level of public concerning the corona issue, which has brought a lot of problems in this county.
However, Kilifi County Border Riders Chairperson Joseph Mwangu has condemned the arrest, accusing police of targeting them.
Polisi wana vitengo vingi sana, na kama kuna mtu amefanya ukosefu wa nidhamu, wanafaa wafanye uchunguzi ni akina nani walihusika na arrest, lakini si kusababisha taharuki Malindi nzima, na sio Malindi yote lileta fujo, ni watu wawili watatu.
The development coming as Kilifi Governor Amason Kingi directed the police to release all motorbikes in their custody after training the riders on public health and road safety measures. Ben Chumba reporting for Channel 1 News.
Kenya's economy shrunk for the first time in decades in the first quarter of the year as the virus forced factories and businesses to close. The world's second biggest economy contracted 6.8%, which is the first time China has seen its economy shrink in the first 3 months of the year since it started recording quarterly figures in 1992.
The financial toll the coronavirus is having on the Chinese economy will be a huge concern to other countries. China is an economic powerhouse as a major consumer and producer of goods and services. The world's second biggest economy contracted 6.8%, the first time China has seen its economy shrink in the first 3 months of the year since it started recording quarterly figures in 1992. Economists say the GDP contraction in January-March will translate into permanent income losses reflected in bankruptcies across small companies and job losses. In the last 2 decades, China has seen average economic growth of around 9% a year, although experts have regularly questioned the accuracy of its economic data. Elsewhere, farm workers are now counted amongst the essential workers needed in the United States to keep food flowing, despite lockdown measures attempting to hinder the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. In California, workers are racing against the clock to make a living. If they can fill up a box every 10 minutes, then they will make just about the minimum hourly wage of $12. Most of the workers are immigrants and some do not have work permits. Those without permits are already living in fear of being deported, but now they have the added worry of contracting the novel coronavirus. Their employers issued cards that designate them as essential workers and allow them to commute to work unhindered and given them masks to protect themselves. Finally, the EU wants to help block foreign takeovers of European companies struggling with the virus downturn. It wants to allow governments to invest in weak companies, which could include some form of ownership. While it called them measures of last resort, the European Commission says it is consulting member states. A focus for the regulator is to counter unfair competition from state-owned firms, which are the backbone of economies such as China. It is now looking at further protection for businesses based in the EU in light of the significant financial impact coronavirus lockdowns are having on them. Experts say European companies have long been in the sights of Chinese rivals, including major state-owned enterprises, and the sharp economic downturn. The subsequent steep falls in share prices could make them more vulnerable to overseas bidders. Fiona Shuru, Channel 1 Business News.
Let's finally take a look at sports. UEFA is working on plans that would see the Champions League final and the 2019-2020 season on 29th August. European football's